Hello and welcome to this episode of Wi-Fi Friends. I'm Cameron and I'm joined by John.
I was trying to be polite and let you finish.
Yeah, I was trying to be an idiot.
See, usually we swap roles.
Yeah. I feel like now, it's good to change it up, I'm now the
Yeah.
heel. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Get here.
Speaking of, got to date this episode, but sometimes we have a habit of accidentally dating our episodes with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, that's funny that it says that the G1 climax isn't over yet, but by the time this episode's posted, it's over.
Yeah, and not only is it over, but Avengers 4 is out. No, I won't be that late, hopefully. Now I have a base of operations. Speaking of
which,
I moved. I moved. Look at that transition. What a hell of a transition. If anything sounds different, if it sounds a bit more echoey, I apologize, but I am currently in the new
Aaron
place.
household.
Yeah. Not much to say, but it happened like 2 weeks ago, so it's a little bit less fresh in my mind. But it is fun to have your own space. Because this is the first place I never went away to what you might call college, John, what we would call university. I stayed in my parents' house during my 4 years of university, so I've never actually had any sense of having to grow up and be an adult and
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
No, there are definitely fun bits, like having complete control over everything that happens. Well, I mean, I have a wife, so like.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Living with people's the worst. Fuck that.
It's like, yeah, there's like ups and downs. You got to weigh up in your head. Well, you don't actually. I think it gets to a point where you can prefer to live with people, but you eventually do have to move out. I think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously living with a person, but living as a familial unit,
yes,
that is your own, is much more personally fulfilling.
Yeah, and I found, well, as little time as I spent doing in this flat so far, the 2 weeks in, I found it kind of I respect space more. Like, I'm more likely to clean up because it's my own space. It's not someone else's. Maybe that makes me selfish, but like, if there's mess around, I'll be like, oh, I'll clean this up. Whereas in my parents' house, I'd be like, I'll get to it. I don't know. It's just a weird mental thing. But anyway, that is not on my mind right now. That was going to be what I was going to talk about, but I just experienced something. I need to just vent it. It'll only take a couple of minutes, if you don't mind, John.
Oh, of course I mind.
Oh, damn.
How am I going to make dumb jokes?
So this isn't anything serious. It's just, fresh. I mean, it is serious to me, and that's what matters. This is our podcast. Don't give a shit about other people.
Exactly.
I was watching a TV show just before we started recording this podcast. I'm not going to name the TV show because I'm about to spoil it, and I figure if I don't name it, then it's not really spoiling it because I don't know what I'm spoiling. So I'm watching this TV show, and it's about this character.
I mean, well, if I don't say the name of a TV show, but then I'm like, hey, Walter W. happens to.
Yeah, I got to be a little bit less specific. So anyway, Naruto Uzumaki is a character. No, I'm watching this TV show.
You mean Boruto's dad?
Oh my god, we should just exclusively refer to him as Boruto's dad now.
Oh, it's my favorite thing.
So yeah, I'm watching this TV show. And I like it a lot. It's not like one of my favorite TV shows. I like watch it in the background while doing something else, which kind of is a good gauge of how much I enjoy it, Like, I enjoy it enough to watch, but like I don't mind missing bits. But it's pretty well made. It's pretty good, and it's about this guy, and it's just about his life. Some of these comedians, they have like shows just about their lives. There's like a ton of them. There's like 100 now, so it's not narrowing it down. But the show regularly mentions that this guy's like 12 years sober. And it's not really a plot point much. It's kind of like one of those things where like it'll offhandedly mention it every so often. So we're in season 3. And the character's having a really stressful, like, a couple, like, months and stuff. And the show has been kind of building up to this character having, like, really, you know, big stresses in his life. Like, the conflicts are coming to a head. It's season 3. Things are getting a bit more serious. And he tries to quit coffee because coffee's, like, his last vice. And it just makes things worse because, like, you know, he's got nothing to... Sorry, did you see that... that little sponsorship, the crack of my Red Thunder energy drink.
What's your sponsorship?
It's Red Thunder, the cheapest energy drink available in
Hey.
South Wales. So anyway, so the character is like getting really stressed. He tries to quit coffee and then he hurts his back. And literally, I saw this 2 minutes ago. This is why it's so fresh and I had to vent about it. So the doctor comes up to him. He's like, "Oh, have you had ibuprofen?" He's like, "Yeah, I took an ibuprofen, but it doesn't really help much." And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to prescribe you Oxycontin." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." He's just going to have to turn it down. And then, you know, the character goes, "Oh, I'm a recovering drug addict." And the doctor goes, "Oh, how many years sober?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm very, very recovered. I'm like 16 years sober." So he goes, "Okay, well, just be safe." And then he takes the pill, and then the show has never done this. Never done this before. So the character puts the Oxycontin, which obviously is an addictive drug, into his mouth, and then it says "to be continued," which the show in all 3 seasons has never had a "to be continued" moment. And I was just like, no! I'm shocked.
And that's when you find out the show was canceled.
Oh my god. It was cancelled because the creator, like, died. I don't know, he's fine. I know he's fine. But, yeah, it was like one of those things where, like, you know when you're not really invested in a show, and then all of a sudden one scene, you're just like, "Oh, fuck, I didn't realize how much I cared."
Oh, yeah. No, I have that frequently.
Oh, man. It was,
Because I just don't care. I just, like, watch things now just to watch things.
Okay.
Because now it's just like, all right, I have 20 minutes of time to kill between, like, when I have to go to sleep and work and life. So it's like, all right, what am I watching? And then, like, an emotional scene happens. I'm like, oh, I do actually care about these people. Oh, well.
I like it. It's kind of a double-edged sword. Because on the one hand, you're like, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize this show was so powerful." And on the other hand, you're like, "Oh, another thing I got to care about."
Yeah. You're like, oh, God, let me add it to the list.
So how have you been, John? What have you been up to?
Man, you know Booker Man.
What? I'm confused.
Just roll with it. You just have to roll with it.
Okay, I know Booker Man.
You're my straight man, remember?
Yes, of course. What are you talking about, John? You silly scallywag.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was going to think of another nickname, but I just went straight to Booker Man again. Just been a lot of work and a lot of, obviously, like, in my free time, I'm just like, what can I do that's, like, not super time consuming that I can just kind of, like, don't really have to worry about? It's not really a commitment. So that's when, like, the reading has been coming in a lot. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to read chapters of Black Clover. And, like, I'm just going to play Hollow Knight on Switch, which is so hard. It's so hard. And it's one of those things where it's like, I know why I'm messing up. And it's not because of the game. It's not the game's fault. It's because the game is very well designed. But as interested as I am in everything that's going on, I don't know if I have the time commitment to work for 5 hours to get to this one guy who has the map for the whole area, so then I can go back through the whole area and look at everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's not one of those games that you can kind of just pick up and play, which is the kind of the idea of the Switch. Like, you kind of got to remember where everything was. And
well, see, so what I've been doing, I've still been failing, which is funny enough. I have a guide in front of me.
Oh, nice.
So I know where, like, I need to go to get the map from the guy to go and where to fight the boss.
Okay.
And at first I looked at that, I was like, okay, this will help me a lot, because I honestly, there was a point where I realized that I'd been going up against this wall that I thought was breakable. And I was like, okay, I just don't have the tool for it. It's a Metroidvania game, so, a lot of times there are barriers where you're like, oh, I'll come back here later, and, I'll have the thingy. Nope. I was just an idiot.
To be
so
fair,
I'm like, I need a guide.
Yeah, to be fair to you, that is not something that is like a new thing. Or going all the way back to the the grandmother of Metroidvanias, Metroid 1, there was shit like that in that game where you were like, how do I distinguish this wall that is explodable from walls that aren't? Because right now it just looks exactly the same.
And it would shake when I hit it. That was the part that got me.
Oh my
is that it
god,
would
yeah.
move. And so I'm like, okay, this is a breakable object, right?
Yeah.
But even with a guide in front of me, the design of the game is just so difficult that it's like I know where I need to go, but I just can't get through these platforms and these bosses or these bad guys to get to the boss.
Yeah, I mean, that is something I struggle with video games where it's like, you know, okay, I'm playing The Witcher, right? And I'm not playing it right now, but I was playing The Witcher. And then I stopped playing it, and I came back to it, and I was like, fuck, I cannot remember. Yeah, exactly. But that's like on a massive scale. But that same thing works if it's a game that is just like Hollow Knight, where it's a couple buttons.
Yeah.
You still need to like... Because even if it's as simple as like pressing a button that was jump in a game that you played last but isn't in this game can throw your whole shit off. Yeah. Like, I've been playing the Nintendo Switch a lot. I've been playing Zelda, trying to slowly work my way through it. And every time I jump back onto my PlayStation, I keep clicking circle to go forward. And it's just like, it's such a simple thing, but it completely throws you out.
Every time I get Zelda back on, I'm always just like, let me just go off somewhere and just touch every button to remember what everything is.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, is this the shield or is this the bow and arrow?
Yeah, and Zelda's such a good game in the fact that it uses, you know, what limited buttons the Switch has. And I don't think the Switch is limited. It's just, you know, most controllers don't have a bazillion buttons like a keyboard. But what it does is it uses combinations. So if you hold this, this, and this, it'll do something new that you don't need a new button for, you know? So, for example, like the shield surfing is like a ball day because you got to jump and you got to shield and you got to press A. But, like, that comes naturally when you've played Zelda for 50 hours. But then if you haven't played it for 2 weeks and you've played, like, I don't know, Call of Duty or something. I haven't played Call of Duty, but that's just what came to mind for some reason.
Oh, Cameron, the kids are playing Fortnite now.
Yeah. I feel like...
The kids are playing.
I feel like, in my brain, because, you know, I grew up, you know, when Call of Duty was the thing. That's still, like, a massive popular game to me. But it probably
it's still massively popular.
Yeah, but like it was Fortnite status when we were kids. Like it was like the game that people were like competitive in and stuff. And oh my god, this is getting off a tangent.
They're coming for that battle royale because they're gonna have a battle royale mode in the new one.
Dude, everyone is. Battlefront 5 has got a battle royale.
I'm surprised I haven't seen Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Battle Royale. 100 Nintendo characters.
I mean, I would eat that shit up, dude. That would work for me. God, we got off on some tangents, friend.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, but
I will allow it.
We very much. It is very clear. We don't bury the lead here. This podcast is me and you catching up. You know, so it's gonna be a lot
100%. I really don't think the 13 subscribers that we have are gonna worry too much.
I think there's like 3 of them that hate us, but just subscribe to like dislike every video. Do you know like?
Do we get dislikes? I don't feel like we get...
No, I don't think we're popular enough. Yeah. But there is definitely... Again, this is another tangent, but I recently realized, because I was wondering, like, you know, oh man, sometimes channels get like loads of dislikes. And I realized there are probably people who subscribe to channels just to hate them.
Oh, 100%.
It's crazy. Like, I started realizing it because I'm a big comments guy. I love YouTube comments. Like, yeah, it's dangerous sometimes because you can get, like, really toxic. But for the most part, if you're watching, like, creators that you like, YouTube will filter the comments so that you only get, like, fun ones and good ones, and you can, like, riff with... It's like community, you know? If I like this YouTuber and these other people like this YouTuber, we can all chat in the comments. But sometimes you'll see the same guy in multiple comment section for the same YouTuber throwing hate, and I'm like, at this point, just unsubscribe. Like, I don't know why you doing this.
All my favorite is like a video will be up for a minute, and it's already got a dislike.
Yeah, yeah, it's like 5 minutes long.
You have not had time to finish the video for it to be disliked yet.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Although it doesn't annoy me the other way around, which is weird.
Oh yeah.
Like if someone likes a video, I
can't say it because I'm a big man. I give it out. Brother, yeah, I'm just at the red light motel, just giving out those likes, man.
I feel like I like quite a lot, but you like way more than me. And the funny thing is that you like
Well,
so
it doesn't
much.
help that it goes to my Twitter.
That's what I was going to
That's
say.
the annoying thing.
But that's your choice. Like,
Yeah, it is.
I've set it up so that you tweet every time you like something, which is fine, which is cool. A lot of people do that. But what's funny is you like a lot of stuff, so you just seem like the nicest guy ever on Twitter, because it's like every other tweet is like, John like this. But where it backfires is like, hey guys, I just put a video up about wrestling. Come check my video out. And then your next tweet is, I just like my own video.
Oh yeah, I'm such a dude. I'm the worst. Well, the thing is that it's two separate channels. So I say, oh hey, I have a video on Wi-Fi Friends, and then my personal YouTube channel likes the Wi-Fi Friends video.
It's funny though. It's like you could take those down, but you're like, nah, I gotta be honest. You know,
Like that. But I need to plan it better to where I like the video first and then make the promo tweet.
Yeah,
because I think if the like comes after the promo tweet, it seems weird. But if it comes, if the like comes, yeah,
you bury
the lead. So you gotta. We went off on a couple of tangents.
Yeah.
Again, man, I don't give it. I don't give any Fs, brother.
It's so clear that you've got a kid in the same room as you. Man, I don't give a fudge, mother trucker. Oh, jeez. So, let's get to the podcast, shall we?
It's cool.
You right? You okay? Everything fine?
That's awesome. I thought we were in the podcast. Just kidding.
Okay. So, John, what is your current fave this week?
At first I thought about making a document. A while ago, I was like, I'll make a document for the next episode, because that's usually what I'll do is I'll write down some bullshit that I just thought of and then send it to you.
Yeah, we have...
Do we have one for this week?
Yeah, you made one.
Well, shiz.
I'm looking at it right now. Unless someone else said this.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to remember.
Okay.
I believe when I wrote that, I was really into anime music videos.
Very much so.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I love anime. I love AMVs.
You don't have to talk about this, by the way, if it's changed.
Oh, no. But I'll talk about AMVs, and then I have little things. That's the thing. None of them are major.
You also have one more thing on you, if you wanted me to mention that.
Yeah, One Piece podcast?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, they go hand in hand. I was really, this was when I was catching up on One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to One Piece podcast, because they were doing, a read-through of the entire series.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
And I'm like, oh, man, I've been catching up on the recent stuff, but, it's been a long time. I don't 100% remember everything. So it was nice to kind of go back, and they have, a really great... They're very knowledgeable about, One Piece, and some of them... Sometimes they have, translators and for the, manga.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and different kind of, experts on it. So it's really cool, because I get, a lot of insight, and I'm like, oh... Okay, now I remember that arc. And then AMVs are just amazing because, I remember when I used to listen to AMVs, watch them a lot, religious. I'd be at home, there'd be a Sasuke Boulevard of Broken Dreams video out. That's some good. But recently, it's just fun because it's I don't want to listen to to a discussion video. I just want something that's music, but maybe also has something visually interesting. And I'm like, AMVs are perfect because you get that visually interesting stuff that's not a weird music video and a dope Green Day song.
AMV was so huge though. I feel obviously they're still around and you still see them, but they were massive, especially when there was no copyright stuff. When YouTube was the wasteland, and you could upload anything, there were so many AMVs. And so much so that I think, I don't know if you got this, but for me, AMV never meant anime music video because it just started to be this own genre.
It was just an AMV.
Yeah, it was this is an AMV. And it didn't have to be anime. They were comic book ones, and I loved them. And one of my earliest editing exercises was making AMVs, but not with anime, with comic book pages and trying to like
Yeah.
make music videos. I remember there was one that used a song, something Nightmare. I can't remember what the band is, but it was like your. I know the lyrics were like.
Hold on. I think I got it. I couldn't do it.
What was that?
I was gonna do like a really whiny like. But
No,
I
it was
just
like
couldn't.
it was like a metal song. It was like your fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Then
Oh,
your
this sounds like
nightmare.
a Puddle of Mud song.
Yeah, kind of. It was a bit more heavy than Puddle of Mud, but it was basically a Parallax AMV, and I would watch it religiously. This guy just uploaded a video where it was that song, and it was a bunch of like cool editing images of Parallax, and I was like, dude, Parallax is the coolest villain of all time. I'm so excited for the Green Lantern movie. Like, it's just like I was like obsessed with it, and it was like one of my first like intros into like the Green Lantern, lore, like with Parallax and all those beasts and stuff. But yeah, dude, what AMVs are you watching then? Are they new ones, or are they like you going back?
Yeah, so people are still making AMVs.
Awesome.
Like there's still channels that are dedicated only to doing AMVs. So a lot of One Piece AMVs. Yeah, it's mainly One Piece ones, and I've gotten like a couple that I'm just like I really enjoy. There's this one. It was a Sanji AMV that was based around the most recent arc that closed, because that one was a lot about Sanji.
Okay.
So good. Excellent.
I think that there's kind of this subgenre now that is a bit more popular now than I don't see it AMVs as much as I do this, which is it is still an AMV, but it's like chill anime beats. Have you ever seen these?
Oh, Lofi anime beats to chill / study to.
Yeah, like these music videos where they're quite short. They're like, I don't know, like 10 to 20 seconds, and they're like this cool chill like anime. This cool chill like lo-fi like song.
Yeah, sorry,
mix.
it's lo-fi. I always say Lofi, but I think it's lo-fi.
I don't know, dude. I've only ever seen it written down.
Yeah.
And the images are always like these like really wide or close-up shots from anime, so they're not specific to like an anime. Like it's not like an AMV where it's like this is Sanji and this is Sanji when he met the girl he liked and this is him kicking a big bad guy. It'll be like their feet, and it'll be like the rain, and then it'll be like a wide shot of Tokyo, and they just make me feel so good. I don't know what it is about them, but like the mix of the music, and usually they've got this nice grain or like this gloss over the screen, and it's just, I don't know who makes these, but they're amazing, and I just love them. I think they came from Vine. I think they originated on Vine, and then they obviously, when Vine was shut down, they brought them over.
Vine gave us I'm not gonna say it gave us a lot of great things, but it gave us some stuff.
Dude, I think Vine is just like anything else, where it gave us really good and really bad. It wasn't like one way or the other. Because obviously there's a gentleman who came from Vine that not a lot of people like, and apparently had a big boxing fight recently. But
oh God.
I don't know. I don't really think we should talk about him. What are some of the other things then? You said you got a couple current faves. Or
So To All the Boys I've Ever Loved.
What the fuck?
Did you ever watch? So that movie's on Netflix.
All right.
Or I think it's To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
I'm gonna Google this while you're talking about it.
It's this amazing romantic comedy that's about this girl who, throughout her life, is like, she's in like high school or whatever, has written love letters to different boys, and these letters get to those boys.
Oh man, this seems like this just based on your description in the poster seems like something I'd like.
Oh, it's amazing. It's super, like, the couple's super sweet and amazing and like very relatable, and they're just cute, and it's just one of those movies that's just really cute, and like, oh, I like everything. I like all of this. They're just so nice and sweet to each other, and like Laura Jean's great. And Peter's like this big sweet boy.
Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah,
It's good.
I like stuff like this, dude, where it's like low stakes,
Yeah. I'm not super worried that anything bad is really going to happen.
Although I have seen some movies where it turns on a dime and you're just like, oh, I was not prepared for this. Oh, that's nice. So have you finished the film then, or are you?
Yeah. It's a quick watch.
Oh, nice. I might give this a watch when I'm feeling like blue, when I need to pick me up.
It's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
and it's funny, and just everyone's just so nice.
Oh, dude, I feel like that's a thing now, dude. I've also got quite a lot of like little things, you know, like nothing super serious. I mean,
Yeah.
I have narrowed it down eventually. I felt like I don't know. I was like looking at my notes, and I had so many things, and I was like, I have to watch something worthy of a fave to come and bring to the podcast. Is there anything else that you've been watching recently, or seeing, or viewing, or reading, or?
Let me
I'm just
think.
squeezing them out of you now. I apologize.
I know, right? Um, there's a couple of stuff that like I don't know. Wow, I guess not.
You talked?
No. Oh, yes. Sorry. One last thing. The Good Place.
Ooh, I've heard a lot of good things about The Good Place.
We're watching season 2 right now because season 2 just got on Netflix.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's just still so good. Season 1's amazing. Season 1 has a great crux and a great hook. And then season 2 just takes that cliffhanger from season 1 where you're like, man, I don't know where they're going from here.
Yeah.
And then it just, in the first minutes of the first episode, you're like, oh, okay, so that solved that problem. And it's just, it's great because it's a show about teaching people. It's about teaching ethics.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
It's a show about teaching ethics in this nice, funny, crazy, like, rapper.
For a second, I forgot that rapper was like meaning like something you wrap something in, and not like
not
show
like a
stars
cool
hip hop rapper. She is absolutely killing it, by the way. Kristen Bell is she is, because I'm not wrong in thinking she's Veronica Mars, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. She's doing, and I read an article, she's doing another season of Veronica Mars. They're bringing it back for like a mini-series, like 6 episodes. And she said, I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to do The Good Place. I'm not stopping The Good Place. So she's like doing 2 of what are going to be, you know, I assume Veronica Mars is going to be a massive hit after the movie. Did really well. So she's just absolutely killing it. And like, I think they're doing like Frozen 2 eventually. I don't know, man. I
would imagine.
I'm the type of person, I know this is super weird because people say, oh, well, they're rich and they're famous, they don't care. But I like get really happy for people when they seem like nice people, you know, and they're like killing it and they're doing like really well. And like, I like it when you see like nice celebrities. I know it's probably fake, and I know I should be
Speaking of nice celebrities doing things that might possibly be fake, I'm watching Stephen Amell wrestling a wrestling match right now, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, I like Stephen Amell as well. He's awesome. He's so good.
He's a great dude. I might not love his show, but he's a good guy.
I always kind of have a thing with Arrow where no matter how bad it gets, I'll always watch it because it was like, you know, like a nostalgia thing from when I started watching. But apparently, and again, this is coming from like inside sources, so how can you trust this? But apparently the new season with the new female showrunner is dope. Apparently it's really good.
They had to get the censors for the network.
Yes.
They're like people who, because they're like, we go to like some really violent places, and the censors had to show up and basically be like, this is how far we'll let you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that like, because basically, those CW shows, they're very fluid in how they're made. Like they make them while they're going out, you know? So like episode 1 will be going out while they're making episode 5. So it's just, you know, it's they can kind of change the arc halfway through, and they can kind of, you know, if people aren't loving a character, you'll see sometimes they'll just drop out of the show. It's really weird, like how they do that. But apparently Arrow, the new season of Arrow, this showrunner came in and she was like, I'm having none of that. And she like, because like Kevin Smith told this story about, because he directs a lot of Flash, he directs a lot of Supergirl, and he was like, hey, I want to direct an episode of Arrow. And she's like, no, we've already locked down every single director and we have all the scripts done. And he was like, what? Like, so like apparently she's like, I think, and again, this is me being presumptuous, but I think she probably came in and was like, listen, this is like the show that everyone knows kind of got bad, so how can we kind of fix that, you know? Like everyone watches The Flash now and Supergirl and is like, oh yeah, Arrow is that show that got bad.
Yeah.
So hopefully she's gonna put it out, because I really like Stephen Amell and I like a lot of the cast on that show. I think they're really talented.
Yeah. I'm hoping that if he can beat Christopher Daniels in this wrestling match, it'll kind of boost his ego up and he'll feel more confident going into the show.
Who's he wrestling?
He's wrestling Christopher Daniels.
Oh, okay. See, that is a lot. No offense to Christopher Daniels, but that's a lot less memorable name than Stardust. Like I
Yeah, true.
remember the name Stardust, not just because Stardust was around when I was watching wrestling, but like, Stardust. I like wrestlers with names that are like, oh wow, I know that name.
Oh,
Like
like Edge,
Edge, yeah, or even like when
Triple H.
they use like normal names, but they're just cool normal names, like
Oh yeah.
Jericho. Like Chris Jericho. Even though that's a name, it's still like you remember it. Whereas like
Yeah.
Paul Blart, like like that would be a
Paul
good
Blart,
wrestler.
wrestler.
Or Justin Roiland's, like, isn't he a wrestler? Am I right? No, wait, am I mixing it?
Right, I don't.
I think
I
I'm
don't know.
mixing up with the guy who made Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that sounds
Justin
like a Rick and Morty person.
Roy, yeah, he is. Who's Rollins then? Who's the wrestler? This is not
Rollins?
Rollins. That's it. Yeah,
Jeff Rollins?
yeah. That's like
Yeah.
not a memorable name, considering I just mixed him up with Justin Roiland. Oh my god, I am
Oh,
fucking.
yeah. Did we go through your current faves?
No, I am the tangent king today, John. I don't want to talk about anything. Apparently, I just want to.
I'm trying to keep you on track somehow.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Thank you, John. I apologize. Okay, so I have two things I want to talk about. There's lots and lots of stuff I'm watching. I'm watching Disenchanted, which is giving me a weird nostalgia thing, because it's not even like nostalgia is weird, because you'd think if it was nostalgia, I'd be having it for a show that was on when I was a kid. But obviously, sorry, burping. Disenchanted is a new show, but it's just made by a guy who made The Simpsons, which is a show I watched a shitload as a kid, and also Futurama, which is a show I watched loads as a kid. So I'm watching a new show, but because of the animation style and the voice actors, I'm like feeling nostalgic, even though it's a completely new show. It's really weird. But that's not my current fave. I haven't finished it yet. I can't talk about it. Let me ask you a question, John.
Yes.
Couple of questions. Number one, do you share my love for the Teen Titans?
I believe so.
Yes. Do you share my love for the old Teen Titans cartoon on Cartoon Network?
I personally love Go a lot, but I love the other one. I love them both. They're like my children.
I like Go. Go is cool. It's not something that I will watch every single episode. Like, I haven't watched it religiously, but I do enjoy it. Whereas with the original, like, because a lot of people hate on Go, but I'm like, dude, it's fine. It's for kids. Like, why?
It's funny. It is
legitimately
funny.
It's like the comedy aspects of the original show without the drama, which I like the drama. So it's like half of the show that I loved. So it's a good show. But that original show, dude, was just mind blowing. Like that got me in. That was one of the things that got me into comics. That and the Batman animated series was like, and the Justice League Unlimited as well. But anyway, I'm getting off on the tangent again. Have you seen Teen Titans Go to the movies?
I have not. I need to.
Okay, so I went into this movie. Sorry, I just got a text from my wife saying, "Can I have a biscuit?" I went into this movie thinking, "Hey, dude, I've seen Teen Titans Go. This is clearly based off Teen Titans Go. I'm really happy for Tara Strong and all the other voice actors that I primarily like TV voice actors, and they've got their own movie and it's in theaters, and also Teen Titans. As much as it's not really the Teen Titans that I love, it's Teen Titans Go. I still am really excited they got their own movie. So I went into it being like, this is going to be a fun time. I'm watching this for free because obviously I work in a cinema. So I was excited, but I was like, I'm gonna enjoy this in this is cool way. Teen Titans Go to the Movies is a funnier and better third wall style comedy. The fourth wall style comedy.
Yeah.
The off the wall random kind of type of humor that is kind of began with Monty Python and is now all kind of become a little bit mainstream. Teen Titans Go to the Movies is a better version of that than Deadpool and Deadpool 2.
Really?
I like the Deadpool movies. I don't love Deadpool as a character, like in the comics. He's fine. He's just never been my cup of tea. But the movies, I think, are really good. They're good movies, and they use that type of humor very well. They push the boundaries, and they have those jokes. I love the X-Men. The only ever seems to be two of you, almost like we can only afford two of you. I love that stuff. Teen Titans Go to the Movies pushes and this is partly because they get away with it because it's animated. They push the boundaries so far in this movie. This is not an episode of Teen Titans Go. It's not.
Yeah.
It is way more care has been put into the plot and the jokes and the satire of this. Because Teen Titans Go is fun and it has that satire, but it feels like they crank out the episodes so fast so they only have so much time to write it.
Well, it's also geared towards, a younger audience.
Yeah,
I would say.
I felt like this was on the level of the Lego Movie, where you can enjoy it as a kid, but you can enjoy it even more as an adult. There's definitely like the kid bits, like there's a lot of fart humor and poop humor, which is it's fine. It's depending on the joke, it can be funny, but generally it's like all right. But dude, I want to say this right, and this is true. This is a true fact about the Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and then we got to take a quick break that I will cut out. I apologize. I've just got to get my wife a biscuit. It's urgent. This is a fact, and I want to get your reaction to this. In the movie Teen Titans Go to the Movies, there is a scene. You don't see it, but you pretty much see it. It's implied, where the Teen Titans murder baby Aquaman. That sentence is not... I am not fabricating that. It is not as dark as it seems, but if you think about it, it is. In this movie, it's played for laughs. But they murder a baby. And it's fucked up. And but yeah, that's just a small little... I picked that because the movie was so messed up and crazy and mad that I was like, I need to pick a scene that really I can say in one sentence and kind of proves that this isn't just an episode of the TV show,
Yeah.
So it's weird, and I don't want to say much about it because I really think you should go in without knowing kind of what the plot is. I mean, the general plot is easy, and like it's been all posters that Robin wants a movie about himself. That's kind of satirical in its sense, the idea that all these superheroes are getting movies and he doesn't get a movie. So he's trying to get a Teen Titans movie made. But the movie's not even about that. That is just like a loose thread that ties together all these weird Monty Python sketches. So yeah.
I saw the scene where they first get the time cycles. When they first use them or whatever, like the rat, like trying to get it to like outrageous, like it runs on rad or something like that.
Yeah, they ride cycles, so they need to do tricks and they need to do stunts.
Yeah, that looked hilarious.
That is amazing, and there's a lot of that humor, but it goes so much deeper. It goes that scene is very, very soon after that they murder baby Aquaman. So, so just okay. The audience aren't going to realize this, but John, I apologize. I have to just take a quick break. I will be back in a minute, and the audience will see me in a second. Okay, and we're back. I apologize.
We should have just jumped mid a different conversation.
Just to confuse people. I mean, people would have believed.
Like nothing happened.
They would have been like, oh yeah, they fucked up the edit. That's just how they do. Okay, so I'm gonna leave Teen Titans Go to the Movies. We will talk about it maybe when it comes out on DVD or on demand or whatever, and you get to see it. But I would like to hear your opinions on it because it is an absolute banana fest. Plus, I'm not gonna spoil it, but best after credit scene of all time.
Oh, I can imagine.
Just the best, and it'll probably be spoiled for you before you see the movie because everyone's talking about it. But it's the best. My second current fave, my final current fave. Just a bit of a shout out. I'm going to make a video about it, so I'm not going to go on and on about it. I had a TV show. As geeks, we probably have a lot of these. I have a couple. I'm sure you have a couple TV shows or books or movies or series that you just don't want to end. So like they end, but you never finish them because you're like, oh, I don't want this to end. Sense8 is a series that I've loved. Ever since Jack Thomas forced me to watch the first season when it was out on Netflix. They brought out a second season. I watched it all in like a matter of 2 days as soon as the second season came out. It ended on a cliffhanger. It was amazing. The first 2 seasons are absolutely fantastic. Possibly the best show I've ever seen. That's not even an exaggeration. I think it's probably my favorite TV show of all time. So then they cancelled the show. Netflix say it's doing really well, but it's not doing well enough to justify the budget because it is an incredibly high budget show. It's shot in 8 different places all over the world with actors from those countries. It's not just like moving crew. Like they get crew and actors and stuff, and they hire them from Korea and all these different countries. I could have listed them, but I'm just lazy.
Korea.
From Korea and other, etc. So they cancelled the show, and I'm in despair. Jack Thomas and I just, on the verge of tears. I can't believe they cancelled the show. It is so perfect. So many people are so sad that Netflix go, hey, okay, we've heard your point, and I'm sorry if you've heard this before, friends. But I'm just reiterating in case anyone's listening and didn't know. So we hear your point. We apologize for cancelling the show, but we can't justify paying for another season. So what we're going to do is we're going to give the creators, the Wachowskis, the budget for a movie, and they can make a finale, which is a movie length. So a 2.5-hour finale, and that'll wrap everything up. So it's basically like, season 3, but it's one episode, but it's an hour.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours and a half long because so many people wanted it. So the Wachowskis like, baller, we can do this. They go off, they shoot it, they edit it. Eventually, it comes out on Netflix. I load up Netflix, I look at it, and I cannot bring myself to watch it because I know this is the end. And it's not only that it's the end, but it's that the circumstances surrounding it were so like up and down and like roller coaster, and are we gonna get an ending, so what I do is, instead of watching the finale, is I rewatch the whole show again. And then I get to the finale and I still don't watch it, and I put it off for 4 weeks because I watched the show again and I was like, right, now I'm ready to watch the finale, but I couldn't bring myself to finish it. And then I was thinking of WiFi Friends, and I was thinking about talking about something that I really, really cared about for my current fave, because it's been a while since I really cared about my current fave, like, deeply. So I was like, listen, I want to watch it. So Jan and I got together, we watched the finale, we got a bunch of snacks, we watched it 2.5 hours, and like, it's... I don't want to talk about the finale specifically, because as a finale, it was really, really good, but it's just the show, Like, the show made the finale. If it was just, like, if I watched the finale by itself, I would have been like, wow, that's a really good episode of TV, but it's not, like, the best finale ever. But just the show is so special to me, and, like, if anyone, is into, like, just love and happiness and appreciation for art and life and being kind to your fellow person, like, I don't know how to pitch this show. It's just like, it just makes me so happy, and it speaks to me on a level. So I recommend, if anyone's feeling sad and if anyone's feeling low, watch Sense8. But the first episode, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe the Wachowskis just thought, oh, we'd be dark and edgy. The first episode opens with something really dark. It opens with this dark scene where a woman is like, she seems like she's going mad, and then eventually she kills herself, right? And it sets this tone, which is like really dark and scary and moody. But the rest of the show is so uplifting. Like, I don't know, you've not seen Sense8, have you, John?
No, I have not.
Okay, so the show is so uplifting. It is one of the most positive, like, and it does get dark. I'm not saying that it doesn't get dark. There's a lot of dark moments, but just the general themes of the show is, love thy neighbor, be kind to everyone, like prejudice is absolute bullshit. Why would you waste time being, hating people, all this stuff that is so positive. But for some reason it opens so dark that every time I try to show it to someone, they go, this isn't what you talked about. But eventually you get to the good bits. So, like, I don't know. I just wanted to give this show that has been meant so much to me over the past 2 years. I just wanted to say it's finished, it's done. If you're interested in watching it, it has a beginning, middle, and end. It is completely all the loose ends are tied up. There's no, like, because a lot of people were saying, oh, I wanted to watch Sense8, but it got cancelled, so I don't want to get into it now. And I'm like, no, they finished it. Like, it's like when people say, oh, I don't want to watch Firefly, they cancelled it. I'm like, yeah, but you should still watch Firefly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just giving a recommendation to you, John. I will make a longer video on this about a more detailed, thought out thing. To you and also anyone listening, Sense8 is a great show. I highly recommend it. If you are a decent human, that's what I'm going to say. If you're not a decent human, you won't enjoy Sense8 because it's about being a decent human. It kind of ties into what you said about The Good Place.
Oh, there we go.
There's the run. So, sorry I ranted a bit on that. It's just, I care a lot. I have a lot to care about, John, and I care a lot about Sense8. And I recommend it to anyone with a Netflix
You got a
subscription.
lot of care to give and a lot of giving to care.
Yeah. One more thing about Teen Titans Go that might bleed into the podcast. I've been speaking a lot like that show now, you know? Like I've been saying rad and dope and like...
Oh yeah, you texted dope and I was like, all right, cool.
It's just when I used to watch the original show as a kid, I used to say that a lot because the cadences of how they speak is so entertaining. They speak in this kind of like hyper unrealistic, like bizarro, like they use the word rad and dope and like they use a word like dude, right? Which is already like, you know, I mean I use that a lot, but like most people it's like a silly way to hey dude, you know, like it's kind of American and stuff. But like they'll go further. They'll be like dudical, dudette, you know, just any way they can stretch that word out, and that's just kind of the vocabulary. Yeah, dudester. So like when you anytime you watch like a Teen Titans property where there's Go the original or Go to the movies, you start speaking like them because it's so infectious. Like, oh yeah, it's something I say a lot now because of Beast Fight.
Booyah!
Booyah is a good one. Anyway, moving on. Do you have? I know you do, but do you have any interesting topics for us today, John?
I believe so.
It's a really interesting topic.
Do you remember what my topic is?
I have it right in front of me, written down in black and white and red. John, I believe you were going to ask. And I hope you have an answer to this because I feel like you've forgotten everything.
It's been a minute since I wrote it.
Things that take you back to a point in time connected to a specific...
Pow Pow Morris. So my topic today, I'm going to pretend like you didn't feed me my line.
Yeah, I'll cut it
out.
You know,
that's what good actors do. Yeah. Cameron... Shit. Pow Pow Morris. I couldn't remember what the
Recovery?
what the middle was. I was like, what was the nickname I gave him? My topic today, I wanted to look back. Look in the past, if you will. Gaze into the mind's eye. And just, what are some things, they could be objects, movies, TV shows, books, whatever, that when you see that thing or you start ingesting that, it takes you back to a specific moment in time in your life where you're like, oh, it's like the veil has been lifted and I'm 10 years younger.
It's a very good question.
Stuff like that.
Because, yeah, like you just said, it's such a relatable... I feel like everyone can relate to that in some way. There's that feeling is like so good and so pure and like in all of us of like... The only time we ever experience time travel, you know, the closest we get to it is moments like that. Where you see something or you read something and you go, oh shit, dude, this is taking me back to when I first read it. Or another version could be, I've never read this before, but it's very similar to when I was a kid, you know? Like, that could happen as well. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So you read a book, but it's like about a kid that's very similar to how you were. But like the feeling of like reading something that you read when a kid or watching something you watched as a kid is like it's a weird, bizarre feeling because it feels good, but it's also like, whoa, this is like it genuinely sometimes feels like time travel. I don't know if you get that, but like it has like a weird, profound effect on me sometimes. However, so I came up with 4 examples, which usually we do 1 or 2. I came up with 4 examples that immediately hit me straight away. Yeah. They were like, this, and this. I remember having this. And every single time I watch them, it's not like, you know, it happened once. It's like, they're a guarantee, you know? I just put them in and it's just like, oh, I know what I'm going to feel. And then I do feel that, you know, which is pretty cool. Yeah. They're that powerful. However, my issue is... all 4 of them take me back to the exact same memory. But I still think that's valid, you know? You can argue against that. Because I have lots more, but for some reason, my mind is only jumping to this one memory that these 4 things conjure. And there's probably some deep reasons that we can get into, or maybe not get into, as to why this memory is so prominent right now in my life. But like, but it's what I'm thinking about, so I'm going to be honest. But I was wondering if you wanted to go first, because I don't have anything really exciting. I just have the one memory.
Yeah, I can go first. We can jump back and forth. We can do
Yeah.
whatever, man. It's loosey goosey over here. We're just two gunslingers in the
Yeah.
West, brother.
Did you break? You were on a roll and you're just like, brother.
Brother. Sorry, I had to reboot the system real quick. So the first thing that made me think actually of this topic was I was looking back on my Facebook.
Your Facebook.
My Facebook. And the Facebook memories is the worst invention known to man. I love it to death, but I also hate it. Because sometimes it's really cool and interesting. Sometimes it's really sad, and sometimes it's really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the type of person you were, depending on which year.
I gotta say, sidebar, you are the best person that thing was invented for, by the way. Because I love fucking 2008 John being like, hey, I'm mad today.
God, I hate those posts so much.
No context, no link to something you're mad about, you know?
Just vague musings.
You were tweeting before you had a Twitter. I think that was what's going on. You were saying things that are acceptable on Twitter, but on Facebook.
We didn't know how it all worked back then. You know, we were just learning, flying by the seat of our pants. But so, recently, I've been seeing stuff for 2 years ago, I believe is when the memory is. But for Pokemon Go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a recent thing.
Okay.
Anytime I see any sort of promotional anything for Pokemon Go, it instantly takes me back to working at Disney.
Oh, because of the battles.
Because, like, that was, like, when that game came out, you do not understand how much it took over the workplace. It was like, we had meetings where they'd be like, guys, you need to stop playing Pokemon when you're at work. And we'd be like, but you don't understand. There's a Pikachu right by the trash can.
It's funny because, like, when Pokemon Go launched, there was a lot of, annoyed people because they were like, hey, I don't live in a place where there's a lot of stops. I don't live in a place where there's a lot of gyms because there's nothing interesting around where I live. And before they were kind of just, when it launched, it was only the like, important places that were well known. You were working in one of the most well-known places in the entire Earth.
I had gyms and stops everywhere I went. Literally, we would go into a restroom stock closet, restock on all our stuff, and leave. And so it's so weird because that time frame is because it was such a cultural zeitgeist moment.
Oh, definitely.
That I really don't think I've been a part of before that and after that so far. Where it was like, it was everywhere. On our days off, we would go to a park, and there'd be all these other people there at the same park, and we'd all be playing Pokemon, and there'd just be this guy who's like, there's a Ghastly over there, and we'd all run to that area to get the Ghastly. Like, it was a thing.
It was intense. Like,
yes.
It's mad. Like, bringing it up is making me remember as well, because, like, I never played Pokemon in my life. I was never a big Pokemon fan. I'm still not really a Pokemon fan. The only Pokemon thing I ever remember is I got, like, the one with Mewtwo, that movie. I got that on TV once. I don't know why I got it, but it came with, like, a Mewtwo card, and
because it's great.
Yeah. Well, I remember watching that and being sad at the end. But sorry, a little bit of a tangent. But yeah, you're right. Like, it truly, and even though it was temporary, and people will go, oh, it only lasted for a little bit, but I would argue everything's temporary. We all die eventually.
Jesus.
So, sorry. But even though it was temporary, I would argue that game achieved what it set out to do more than most games ever do in their lives. Like that game was like, we're going to get people playing Pokemon, talking to people, and exercising. And all those three things happened on a major scale. There were people... Yeah. I live in a country where it is only sunny for 2 months and then it rains. It rains like a bitch. And there were people, come rain or shine, winds like you've never seen wind before, out in the streets chatting to each other in like like not the most sociable places, catching Pokemon. They didn't know each other. They would bond over fucking Pokemon, and I'm like, that is beautiful. Like, people would make fun of it, and like, I get it. It's easy to make fun of, but like, it was so nice to watch. It was like people out and they were doing stuff, and everyone was catching Pokemon, and they were all having fun, and everyone was just having fun. And you're right, it was just like this zeitgeist. It took control of everyone for like 2 months, 3 months.
Hello? It was great.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
I completely. I was like deep in thought about what you're saying, and then it was just like, oh, see, I don't know, man. I'm just not like. I'm in this weird space,
dude. It feels. I don't know. There's something today with. I feel you. You know, I'm empathizing right now. Like I'm. There's. I don't know. It's just a weird. I mean, it's late for me, so maybe that's my excuse. But it does.
Yeah, my excuse is.
Are you sure you're not a fucking robot?
My wife hated this joke. I used to do this joke where I'd be like, husband bot 3.0, beep boop beep. And she's like, I hate you so much. Why are you doing this? And I'm like, does not compute.
See, the people who are not in long-term committed relationships, what you don't understand is you get to a point where if your partner hates something, you just do it all the time.
Oh, yeah. It becomes a bit.
Only when they stop caring about hating it is it when it's like, oh, well, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, did you want to go, or?
I'll go.
Because I can say some more or not.
Yeah, I'll go, and then you can bring it home, as they say in the American sports.
They do?
I don't know. I'm not. You tell me.
Yeah. Shit.
God, isn't it funny how like you're the American football guy on this podcast? Like,
oh yeah.
If it comes down to one of us, it's you.
I'm de facto.
Yeah, and now our resident American football expert, John Johnsick.
Ball.
Tom Brady. Just
good job
naming people. Good job. So I have four. I have four things, very specific things. So you've got Blazing Saddles, the movie by Mel Brooks, 1975, I believe, or 74. I don't know. This comedy about a black sheriff in times where black people definitely were not allowed to be sheriffs. And how he comes to a town and he kind of... I don't want to explain the movie. Watch Blazing Saddles. It's classic. Monty Python's Hunt for the Holy Grail. Star Trek, specifically The Next Generation and Voyager. And then I've got another one here written down that I thought I'd remember. It just says TA. Oh, The Three Amigos. So... 3 of these movies are clearly comedies, as you can see, and one of them is Star Trek. I'm going to talk about the 3 comedies first. So I, of course, I'm a huge comedy fan. I like making comedy. I like making people laugh. And one of the main reasons for that is when I was a kid, I was exposed to lots and lots and lots of comedy, whether it's through sketch shows like Mitchell and Webb, or Monty Python's Flying Circus, or movies. And there were 3 movies as a kid that I watched. Way too young, by the way. Like, I gotta say, you know, props to my dad for making me funny, but also he's maybe a bad parent for showing me these movies. When I was way too young, I don't know what age it was, but I remember we would lie on the sofa almost every single afternoon. We would lie on the sofa and we would watch one of these 3 movies on repeat, not like on repeat like that day, but like I would come home from school and there would be 2 hours before my mum got back, but my dad would work nights, so my dad would wake up an hour before I finished school. He would pick me up, he'd bring me home, and we'd be in the living room. He'd lay on one sofa, I would lay on the other, and we would watch Blazing Saddles. And then mum would come home, he'd go to work, and then I wouldn't tell mum that I watched Blazing Saddles. And then the next day he'd pick me up from school, we'd come back, we'd watch The Holy Grail. The next day, we'd watch Three Amigos. And then it repeats. And then the next day, we watch Blazing Saddles, Holy Grail, Three Amigos. My dad loved these movies so much when he was a teenager, because that's when they kind of came out, that like, he wanted me to be in love with them as well, which is like an awkward thing. It's like I like it, you know, that kind of like your parent wanting the son
Oh yeah, it's trying to share this experience, and hopefully you have the same.
Yeah, you could argue that it can go too far and be like, hey, dude, I don't like this, but you're trying to make me like it. Then you gotta stop. But because I was a kid and because it was right about that time where I was understanding some of the jokes and knowing that I wasn't supposed to understand them, which made them even more fun. These movies are drilled into my brain, and every time I watch them, I feel good because they're great movies. They're absolutely fantastic movies. I would say that they're the 3 funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. But that's very biased because every time I watch them, I think of my dad and I think about the relationship I had with my dad. And it's not that I didn't see my dad a lot. I saw my dad a lot as a kid, but it wasn't in long bursts because he worked nights. He would be these times where we'd watch these movies in this 2-hour gap would be pretty much all the time we'd have to hang out because he would have to go to work. And then my mom would come back, and my mom was my primary, this is the parent who would teach me things, and she would make me food and everything, and I spend the most time with her. So my dad is these movies to me, And it's weird because recently, because I don't watch these movies every single day, now I didn't do that all the way from 9 years old to now. It stopped eventually, and we moved on to, which I'll talk about in a bit. We moved on to Star Trek, but I stopped watching these movies, and then I'd watch them occasionally, and I'd always feel nice. But I moved out obviously 2 weeks ago, and I've always been really close to both my parents, but I moved out. And I've been chatting to my mom a lot on Facebook and texting and stuff, and she's been checking up on me, and we've been talking and stuff. But my dad and me don't have this relationship where we really chat, we'll talk, but he doesn't go, hey, how are you doing? That's just kind of if I got that text from him, I'd be like, what's wrong? It would be weird. It's not, but I've been watching Blazing Saddles, Holy Grail, and The Three Amigos a lot. I've been watching these movies, and I didn't even realize why until I thought about it. I was like, why am I watching these movies again? And I was like, oh shit, I don't live with my dad anymore. And it's my weird, subconscious way of missing him, It's weird. It's just I realized this with recently, and they very much I put them on, and I enjoy the jokes, I enjoy the plot, I enjoy everything in the movie, but I also enjoy this feeling of if I close my eyes and I listen to it, I'm laying on the sofa again, it's this weird kind of time travel thing, but eventually we stopped watching them because I think my dad got annoyed. He was like, I love these movies so much, and then he oversaturated on them.
Oh yeah.
So then he was like, what can we watch? Yeah. And especially he'd been watching them way longer than I have, because he was 20, 29, 30 when he was at this point. I'm trying to do math in my head. So eventually he's like, I want something I can watch with you that won't get repetitive. And he was like, oh dude, I used to watch Star Trek, the original series, with my dad when I was a kid. So now there's at this point there was The Next Generation, there was Voyager, there was Deep Space Nine. So he was like, every day you come home from school, we're gonna get through the whole backlog of Star Trek that I've missed, since I was a kid, and you're gonna do it with me. So we watched Next Generation all the way through, then we watched Voyager, and then we got 2 episodes into Deep Space Nine, and I enjoyed it as a kid, and he was like, this is boring, and turned it off. but it took a long time, even though we only got through it once. It's there's a lot of episodes of Star Trek. And it's every time I watch that show now, it affected me in a different way. It didn't make me the first 3 things were they made me want to be a comedian, made me want to be a filmmaker. They added to this idea of me wanting to be a creative person. But Star Trek, going back to what we were talking about earlier in the podcast, it built me as a moral human being. It was like a Bible, because I was religious as a kid, but it was always boring. I would go to church and I wouldn't listen. But Star Trek, they'd be teaching you similar lessons, but because they were in space, I would be like, oh dude, this is important. I need to listen and I need to take this in. Picard was thou shalt not kill, and they'd be like, yeah, Picard's right. And then I'd go to church and I'd be like, this is boring. I'm not listening to this guy in the sky.
Picard.
So that is also another thing where it affects me on a good level because of the art that it is, but it also on this other weird time travel level because it makes me think of my dad, and I don't know, they're all the same memory kind of, but I just thought it was quite relevant right now, and I wanted to kind of talk about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. way deeper than I say.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's just weird that like I didn't even realize I was watching these movies and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my that's mine. I'm sure there are a bazillion more that will take me back to.
Oh yeah, that's the problem is that like you don't really think about it until it happens. Then you're like, oh man.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, so I guess my last one I can really think of is the Harry Potter series.
Oh wow, really? Okay, that's
But at
interesting.
first, which is interesting because I talked on this podcast before how I'm not the biggest Harry Potter person. But Harry Potter 7 Part 1 was me and my wife's first date.
Oh no way!
Yeah, that was our first date. We went to go see that movie in theaters.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's always been just it's just always like that first thing that we ever did together. That first awkward, and I'm just instantly like whenever I see anything Harry Potter related though, it's not just that movie, it's just Harry Potter in general, I guess. I just think back to like that. Because it's such a strong memory and such a strong moment for me, and just like, oh man, like that was like the beginning of like the rest of my life, but I didn't know.
Oh man, that's a really nice one. I think stuff like that is really cool because you build, especially romantic relationships, but it works with other relationships. You build romantic relationships as kind of like this law, like we tend to, and I don't think this is a bad thing. I think this is a good thing. We tend to like we piece together all the stuff that happened in our lives, in our romantic lives, and kind of make this, story arc. It's like, oh, dude, this is this, and this is the beach episode.
This is the beach episode.
And I think that's why, like, anime works sometimes because it kind of taps into the feeling you get. But having that one, thing that keeps calling back to the first episode, it's really good.
Yeah, like, that music beat or that.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, for me, I have one of those, and you just reminded me of it because Jenny and I, when we first started chatting in school, when I first started like fancying her, as we would say. I don't know if that's an American thing. Do you fancy people? Is that a Britishism?
Yeah, I don't know if it's really a Britishism.
Like when you're in school, you'd be like, "Oh, who do you fancy?" I was like, "Oh, I fancy Jenny Derrick." It's like,
I mean, not used as much.
Yeah, I just feel like it's quite British. Like fancy, just a word as a word, is like quite a British thing to say. Yeah. Anyway, but we went back when I fancied her, and we were like when we were first chatting, we would listen to this one song. I'm not gonna say what the song is yet because it's kind of it's gonna make you laugh. So we would listen to this one song, and she got me into this song, and then into the band, afterwards. But it was based on this one song, right? And this song, for a while in our relationship when we were kids, was like, oh, dude, this was like our song that we would listen to, and it was like, it was like so, like we loved it so much, and we like dissected the lyrics, and it was like, oh, I love this song so much, and it like became kind of our song for a while. It's not anymore, and I'll tell you why. But like this song, she had it on her Sony Ericsson, dating my life. She had it on her Sony Ericsson that she would like, we would each put one earbud in. And we were on the back of the bus. This is before we even, I even asked her out. We'd be sitting at the back of the school bus, one earbud in, we're listening to the same song, and like quietly, but like loud enough that we could hear it, but hoping no one else could hear us, we would like really try to sing the song, like give it our all, but as quietly as possible so no one made fun of us. So that's like a really romantic thing. Cut to a couple years later, all of a sudden, a meme comes out, and guess what the meme is? All Star by Smash Mouth. All of a sudden, this song that we thought was like, oh, this is so good, everyone starts acting like it's... Now, to be fair, I do love the meme. It's one of my favorite memes of all time. I almost enjoy it more because of how much the song meant to me, like on a personal level.
Yeah. But still, it is kind of funny.
Yeah. So to homage that, when Jen and I got married, we had the whole ceremony. It was very nice and very romantic, and
Yes, it was.
Yes, yes, I'm sure you remember with tears in your eyes. Jack
Yeah,
Thomas coming up and
always, every night.
Jack Thomas unable to get through the reading that he had because he's
Oh
crying
gosh,
too
you don't
much.
remind me. That sweet boy.
Such a sweet boy. So as Jenny and I walked out of that ceremony, at the end, everyone's celebrating. Really quietly in the background, you heard a piano cover of All Star by Smash Mouth.
Oh, I don't think I caught that. Mostly
Yeah, a
because I was
lot of
so
people didn't
unfocused.
catch it because they were also like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is," but we wanted to slip it in there, so it's like this dun 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 dun. Dun. This is a really sweet piano cover that Jen's brother Tom did, and it was very nice. But yeah, it's weird, like when, because for example, like Harry Potter. It doesn't give a shit about your first date. It's a huge
Yeah,
thing. Like, it's this massive thing that's growing everywhere, and they're making new ones, and they're making parks and everything. There's no way for you to avoid it, but every time you see it, you go, oh, it's like a little bit of dopamine, that kind of gets
yeah.
released, and it's crazy how that happens, man. Dude, I like this, dude. I'm not sure I want to do my topic. Is that mean to say? I think this
We've
is a
done it
really
before
nice.
where we've only done one topic.
Yeah, and I feel bad sometimes because it's like, you do a topic, and now I'm going to flunk out. I do have a topic, it's written right here, but I really like this kind of, it felt like a nice, complete, kind of wrap up, if you get what I'm saying. Are you feeling my vibe,
I,
John?
I feel it. I feel that shit. You know what you
Hey,
need to do?
don't swear in front of kids.
Uh,
Also, like the police break in. Have you seen that meme?
oh,
Why am I talking about memes? Sorry, John, carry on.
I was gonna go on a long Rick and Morty bit, even though I don't watch the show. Um,
This is my impression of a Rick and Morty bit, even
oh,
though
you want
I've
me to give
not
you my
watched the show.
impression of Rick and Morty?
I don't know. I'm scared.
Uh, base level nihilism. Uh,
Wow, that is mean, dude. That is mean. Do you know what happened? You met a dickhead who also liked Rick and Morty, and then you judged
oh,
Rick and
a
Morty for
hundred. The
that.
internet, 100%. But however, I did have this guy at work. I love him to death. And we used to always play this clip to each other. It's oh god, what are the characters? There's Rick, and then more. Yeah, Rick.
There's Rick, and then who's the other one?
So Morty, Rick is like turned into like a little kid.
Little Rick, or I can't remember what he calls
Little
himself.
Rick, yeah, and Morty's talking to Summer, and he's telling her to get her shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played that. We would play that clip to each other at work all the time.
You gotta
We'd
get your
say,
shit
"Get your shit
together.
together. You gotta put it in a bag, so it's together." Or you could sell it at a shit store, or put it in a shit museum. Just get your shit together. We would all day to each other.
Oh man, it is weird how like Rick and Morty, like I have to remind myself that I like the show. I'm like, dude, I like Rick and Morty. Why do I hate it right now? Why am I annoyed by Rick and? Oh yeah, that's because everyone is a dick about it.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a
I'm like,
fun
I
show.
don't care for it, but I can take clips out of context and enjoy
Yeah,
it that way.
and like that's the thing. If you don't care for Rick and Morty, if you didn't care for any other show, you could just be like, I don't care for it, but I get the appeal. Whereas with Rick and Morty, you go, I don't care for it, and all of a sudden, everyone hates you. Like it's
Uh,
really hard to like. There are some shows where you're just like I'm not a big fan of Game of Thrones. I have my reasons for not liking it, but it's
Same
like,
here.
but it's like I don't judge you if you like Game of Thrones. It's probably a really well made show. But if I say I don't like Game of Thrones, all of a
Oh my
sudden,
god, you need to watch Game of Thrones. Oh my god. You
have you
need to.
tried it?
Guess,
Yeah, I watched
guess
3
what?
episodes. You got to watch the
Guess
fourth.
what? I don't need to do nothing. I don't even need to breathe.
I'm
I
gonna
just
die
need to
right
watch
now just to prove a point. God, it was yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
I want to the last thing I say before John does his amazing outro plugs that he's tend to do now.
Oh, I got it planned.
Oh, awesome! I cannot wait. But the last thing I will say is, if you like a show, hi, my name's Cameron. This is a PSA. If you like a show and you are part of that show's fan base, remember, people don't need to like that show to be good people. Sometimes people just don't like a show. Thanks. And now for John.
Oh, hi. Sorry. I didn't see you there. We've ended our journey together here on this long, winding road full of joy and laughter, maybe a little bit of sadness. You know,
Oh.
who knows? Different strokes for different folks. I would just like to say that from the bottom, deepest, darkest parts of our heart, we thank you for going with us on this wonderful, maybe probably over an hour, I'm assuming. Over an hour, I don't know. We have an edit to do. It's a lot of confusing stuff. Time that we've taken together. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Follow us on Twitter. And as always, clear minds, open hearts, live the dream, die by the sword.
And there you have it.
There you have it.